I have so many questions, but I'm going to start with one because I think I want to get the essence of this. How did Calvin Klein start? Let's start with that one. I know you've been asked that many times, but there are different versions online when I research and I ask different people, and it's like the legend, the myth, there's so many different stories. So let's hear from yourself directly. How did it start?
Well, I was very fortunate because I always knew from the time I was very young, I knew what I wanted to do. I had this gift, which was sketching and drawing. I had the option to go to fine arts schools or something that would be more commercial, where you study visual arts and graphic design, fashion design, and I opted for that. None of my family was in this business. What I did was I got as much of a foundation through universities as I could get, which I think is really important. And then I went on my first job. I got the job. And there was a person there who actually hired me. He didn't own the company, but he became my mentor. For many years after I left the company and started my own business. So that's how I began. There is a funny story where when I started, I had 3 coats and 4 dresses. And I had told 2 stores in New York that I was going to make these clothes while I was still on this job, which was not I had a contract, it was dishonest, but I was making clothes that were not at all in competition with what I was designing on 7th Avenue. They promised to buy the clothes. And I took a little room in a hotel on 7th Avenue where out-of-town salesmen bring their lines to New York to show to buyers. And my room was right opposite the elevator. And we always kept the doors open. And sure enough, the elevator door opens. This man walks in because he sees my clothes on the rack. And he introduced himself, and he said, "I am Donald O'Brien. From Bonwood Teller, which was a great store at that time. I will bring the buyer down." I showed him the clothes. I'll bring the buyer down tomorrow, and then the next day, you will have been discovered. And sure enough, it was the president of Bonwoods who did discover it. In those days, retail stores were very different. They supported designers, young designers. They paid for the advertising. Today, that all went out the window. No one pays for the advertising except you. But that was
So the game has changed. The game has changed.
Everything has changed.